I'm Julie. This is so uncomfortable. Like, how do you even begin one of these? Okay, I'm gonna get comfortable. Okay, so today I kind of wanted to do a welcome video. I'm going to be traveling. I'm leaving in 60 days from today, actually. I'm going to be traveling to Australia and Thailand and probably the rest of Southeast Asia for about the next 6 months. And so I really wanted to start making videos as a way to connect with my family back home on what I'm doing. I also just really love making videos whenever I travel, and I always just have so many ideas going on in my head of things I want to talk about, so I figured why not start a YouTube channel, because everyone else does, so why not me? And if no one listens, that's fine. I feel accomplished at least. One of the first things I want to talk about is kind of my spiritual journey and how I ended up where I am now. Buddha, stop. Also, say hi to this really cute puppy. Say hi, Buddha. Say hi. You know, I had a great childhood, but my parents got divorced when I was young, and you know, that kind of took a toll on me. It all led me to kind of a very depressive childhood. I was very fearful, and I just remember being very anxious. I know most people get anxious about changes, but I remember being overly anxious about things like that. I had no self-confidence, and yeah, just very depressed, and it probably continued. It was at its worst probably like middle school, high school, and definitely my first 2 years of college. I went to school in Michigan, and I think I definitely experienced some sort of depression there. I moved back home and I transferred to CU Boulder, and at that point, you know, I started working on things with my parents and, you know, working through things of the past. Ooh, I should go back a little. What year was this? My junior year of high school, I believe. My mom had just gotten through a pretty serious breakup, so I think we were both really lost, really depressed, and so her realtor recommended us this church she goes to. So it's like a universalistic church, so there's, you know, they say God, but they don't mean God as in like a Christian God or something like that. It basically means like there's something out there, a higher power. And so we started going to this church, and they talk a lot about self-development, and basically, you know, for others to be happy or to create happiness in the world, then you have to create happiness in yourself first. And so it talks about, you know, being happier and allowing more love into your life and happiness and changing your life. And so that really got me started on this whole journey of, wow, I can actually do something different with my life. I cannot be so depressed all the time. But unfortunately, I think I was still so stuck in this victim mode and just having low self-confidence and all these other things that it didn't really click for me. And then, you know, I kept trying to keep these things going to kind of help me out of this depressive state. And it wasn't until I moved back home and transferred to CU that things really started to change for me. I had a really good set of friends. I was dating someone really great, and I was back home with my family, and I was doing great in school, and everything just was clicking, but it still wasn't in the right way, and I think I still went through some depressive points. And then last year, I kind of made this decision after some, you know, crazy things happen with my relationships and friendships and family, and I don't know, something just like clicked in me. I was like, I have to change something. I was so tired of being so scared of everything. My entire life I've been so fearful and hated stepping out of the box or anything, and I just felt like I had to figure out my life. So before my last year of college, the summer before, I moved out to California with one of my best friends. We road tripped out there, and we stopped at Zion and Las Vegas, and that really just like crazy opened my eyes. And then I stayed with my grandparents over the summer, and I nannied for my aunt, and I sat around and I had a lot of time to myself. My cousin I was watching my cousin basically. He's only 6 months, I think, when I started watching him. So he's pretty young, so he'd take a lot of naps. And, you know, I tried to do what I could to, like, clean up and stuff. But a lot of times I was left with, like, not a whole lot of things to do. So I started watching a lot of documentaries, doing a lot of reading, that some friends out there had given me some books and stuff like that. So that's when the really, like, spirituality part set in for me and started this whole thing of, like, wow, I really can change everything I've been doing. I don't have to be in this victim mode about what's happened in my past or being bitter about anything. And I can do the things that I want to do. And so that, like, really just sparked it for me. Last summer really got me into all this, you know, like, really being spiritual and realizing I could change my life. And so when I got back, this was probably the most defining moment for me, was when I spontaneously went on a trip to Moab. We were so on the fence about it, my friend and I, and then probably like the day before we decided to go on this trip. It was just a bunch of college kids who were going out to the desert to have fun, and it ended up being probably one of the best weekends of my life. There ended up being 54 people, I believe, on that trip. And I knew 2 people. That was it. Maybe 3. Out of these 54 people. And we were literally out in the middle of nowhere. We got there on a Friday night after classes at like midnight. And we were so exhausted. But the next morning we like rallied and we went and we explored Moab, and it was just the best weekend of my life. I think it really clicked for me that, you know, I could be happy and there wasn't anything that needed to stand in my way, and I could stop being fearful at any point. I just had to, you know, give myself props and, you know, allow myself to be scared, but to push through those fears. And so one day, and this is probably the real moment that it clicked for me, we went cliff diving. And, you know, it was probably like a 20-foot drop, I want to say, 23-foot drop. But previous me probably would have sat there for a solid hour and looked over the edge and be like, oh, yeah, I could definitely do that. And then when it came time to jump, I'd be like, okay, I'm just going to wait like 5 more minutes. I'm sure I'll do it though. And I would probably just continue this process over and over and over. And then I would just wimp out because it'd be too late. And this is stuff that's happened to me before. That's why I say it that way. But yeah, so then this time I like kind of for a minute was like, oh, I don't know. And I like kept going back and forth on it. But then I kind of was just like, okay, I'm just going to do it. And I said 3, 2, 1, and I just jumped. And it may seem like something so minuscule to other people, but to me it was so powerful that I could change something in myself, in my brain, that said, you can do this. You don't have to wimp out. You can change this time. It was just an incredible weekend, and it just started this whole long journey for me that I could accomplish anything I wanted, and I didn't have to be restricted. So fast forward to, you know, like 8 months later, however many months it's been. I guess almost like 10. That's crazy. So I applied to grad school. Everyone else was doing it. I was kind of on the fence about that, and so I just went ahead and did it, and I kind of used it as an excuse to travel as well. And so I got to visit San Francisco, and I spent some time in LA, and but yeah, so it was a neat experience. But then I found out I got accepted. I literally did not think I was going to get accepted because I've always had this kind of low self-confidence, which has changed a lot lately. But yeah, so I just had low self-confidence, and I got in. And so I was sitting here. I was actually in Puerto Rico when I found out. Just landed in Puerto Rico, turned on my phone, and found out I'd gotten into graduate school. And then 2 days later, I found I got into another graduate school. I got into UCLA and then USC. And so I got back, and I was trying to make all these decisions, and, you know, graduation was coming up in 6 weeks, and I just had no clue what I wanted anymore out of life. And you know, I'm a musician. That's why I studied in college, and I love it more than anything in the world. But something just was not feeling right anymore, and I don't know if it was the pressure or what. I'll probably have to talk more about this later. But anyways, so once I found out it financially wasn't going to be feasible, I had to figure out what the heck to do with my life. And one of our friends who traveled to Thailand last year had brought up a thing about an Australian work visa and how you could get it for 1 year before you're 31. And we had all joked about, oh, if we don't find jobs, let's all just move out to Australia together. And it was just always this big joke in my friend group. And I don't know what got me thinking about this, but I all of a sudden was like, why don't I do that? Like, what? I mean, there's no big problems with it. I don't know what I want to do. I don't know where I want to move. You know, it's only for a year. And so I told my mom about it, and I'm sure she thought I was joking and was like, sure, that's a great idea. But I just kind of went with it. So I just went ahead and applied for the work visa. And once I got accepted to that, well, I already spent $350 on that. Like, I might as well follow through with it. And then I was just waiting for the right moment to, like, when I should leave. I couldn't figure out when I should leave. And then my cousin posted something on Facebook about going to Thailand, and I was like, when are you gonna go? Because I'm gonna be out that way at some point, probably in like January or something next year. And she ended up finding out that the cheap tickets, like the discounts, were for August. At first I was really against it, but I started thinking, this is something I feel like has to do with spirituality, is synchronicity. And I started thinking, how strange is it that, you know, she posted this thing on Facebook exactly when I was having the problem of when do I buy my flight out. And it just seemed too perfect. And so we booked it for the end of August, and we're going for 10 days. And then I will fly to Australia from there by myself. And so yeah, so this all has been a crazy journey, and I am scared out of my mind. I found a job I really like. I love being back home with my family and spending time with my sister. My little sister's being adopted. It's a whole nother story. But I love travel, and I have to do this for me. So anyways, yeah, that's kind of why I want to start this YouTube channel, because I want to talk about some of the things that got me to the place where I am, where I'm able to move out of the country. And I never thought I would be brave enough to do something like that, even though I always wanted to. And I just want to encourage people to live a life that they can be proud of, and one that they're not settling, you know, at 22 years old, right out of college. You know, I just want to empower people to, you know, get out there and travel, or, you know, do what makes you happy. And if that's staying home, that's perfectly fine. But I don't want people to settle for jobs they hate, or relationships they, you know, aren't comfortable in, or anything like that. I want to empower everyone in the world to, you know, follow their dreams, to be peaceful, to, you know, be happy, any of those things. So that was my goal with this video, is to just introduce myself and my story. And yeah, hopefully there'll be more videos coming soon. So that's me. Thanks for watching.